Good afternoon. Really excited about this preseason matchup against the Bucks. Equally as excited about the work that we get an opportunity to get done here today with them in a practice setting. The work that we do will be normal work that we do. We're following a normal practice schedule in terms of the drill work, but it's just good to do it against some unfamiliar faces to get that experience of going against maybe some unfamiliar schemes and just seeing our adaptability both as players and coaches and as a collective. It's just a lot of really good work that you get when you get an opportunity to work with a practice partner. Got a lot of respect for Coach Bowles and staff, and so I expect it to be a highly competitive and a highly productive day. They got some top quality players. It's just really good to pit your talents against theirs in a practice setting. We're going to do various forms of situational ball. I was just talking to the team this morning how special Mike Evans is in the tight red zone, for example. And so we get an opportunity to play some tight red zone ball against a guy like that. Obviously, we're going to have some team run periods. We got to block a guy like Vita Vea or deal with an experienced linebacker man like Levante David, who has done it at a really high level for a long time. And so it's just really good at this stage of collective development to be put in a different environment against some different people and get presented some different challenges, but kind of, do the things that we do on a day-to-day basis during this time of year. And so that's why I'm excited about today, Saturday night. I'm also excited about getting an opportunity for some preseason ball in our home venue. Another step in development. Is reasonable to expect us to be more varsity in our operations, and by that I mean pre-snap penalties and things that are within our control, how we function, how we communicate, hopefully the cleanliness of play. Although for a first time out, we weren't overly sloppy in some of those areas the last time, which is a good thing. It's just no substitute for in-stadium environments in terms of some of those things. We got some really good situational ball the first time around. We got a 2-minute drive on offense in the first half. We got 2-minute sequence with defense in the second half, and so really excited about taking a step in some of those areas. As far as anticipated play time, I'm going to play this preseason game very much like we did the first one in terms of participation. The same collection of guys that were held out the last time will comprise the guys that are held out this time. Those include Aaron Rodgers and DK Metcalf, Jalen Warren, the two tight ends, Muth and Jonnu, Isaac Seumalo on the offensive line. On the defensive side of the ball, the three edge guys, TJ, Highsmith. Maybe I'll let Herbert play a little bit. It depends on how much quality work he gets today. Cam won't play. Pat Queen won't play. Those core secondary guys that I held out last time, I will hold out this time. Again, we'll make our decisions on a week-to-week basis based on development and performance. As I've mentioned repeatedly in this process, different guys for a variety of reasons need different amounts of work in an effort to be ready, and an effort for us to evaluate their talent level or what they're capable of. Some of those veteran guys I mentioned have been doing it for a long time, and particularly at a high level, coupled with the fact I've liked what I've seen from them in a practice setting is the reason why sometimes I move that collective out of the way to provide more snaps for others, and they can develop skill and show talents. And so largely we're going to play this game in terms of participation very similar to how we played game one. We'll make decisions regarding next week based on the totality of a lot of things. But that's where we are right here as we sit here today, excited about the opportunity for those that do play, opportunity to take a step forward, particularly those that are in their first NFL experience. Man, it's reasonable to expect those guys to make a dramatic step between first experience and second experience. Guys like Caleb Johnson and others, man, we expect to really take a step and show growth and more importantly, let their talent show. That'll be enough for me talking. I'll pause and open up for questions.
Would you like to see more from your run game? Focus maybe a little bit more on that this week?
The last time we wanted to make sure that we saw a good sampling of Mason Rudolph versus their first unit. They were playing their first unit there early on. And so, our agenda may change this week, but a lot of it has to do with, maybe how they choose to play it. They meaning the Bucs, meaning who they play and the schematics they deploy. But largely, we're in this mindset that we're going to play this game similarly to how we played the last one.
Is anybody out due to injury?
Yes.
Is anybody out due to injury?
Potentially, but in the preseason, man, 48 hours plus is a long way away, and so I don't want to exclude anyone at this juncture. We'll make those decisions at the 11th hour, Friday evening, Saturday morning even, regarding who's available and who's not from an injury perspective. It's day-to-day this time of year. One thing we want to do is definitively give guys an opportunity to participate in the game. For example, Ryan McCullum is a partial participant today. He's got an opportunity to maybe be a full participant Saturday night, and so I'll just simply live day by day and see how it goes. But that's just one example of it. Those are the decisions that happen this time of year. We don't have to present participation lists and things of that nature like you do in the regular season, and so we're able to carry it to the 11th hour.
Mike, anything specifically you want to see from Caleb this time around?
I just want to see him trust himself more. I want to see him play more instinctually, trust his talents, and that's reasonable to expect between the first experience and the second experience.
Mike Rogers said that when he was on the headset last week that he was the voice of reason, sometimes the comic relief. What did he add on the headset during that preseason game?
Nothing official. We just wanted him to hear how we function. We felt that'd be beneficial in terms of him getting a sense of how we function and communicate and so forth. And so nothing official in terms of his ad.
You talk about guys taking advantage of opportunities. What have you seen Roman Wilson do in the absence of Calvin Austin during your practices?
I think his performance has zero to do with Calvin, to be honest with you. His performance is about his growth and development, and I like the trajectory of it. He's made plays when called upon. He's hardworking and available day in and day out. He brings a good can-do attitude. He's an example of a second-year guy that although he didn't have a lot of playing experience from last year, it's his second year in the program, and it should show, and it has.
I can't recall if you mentioned Calvin in your opening. Is he potentially
his availability is based on health, and so we'll see.
Will all healthy players work today? I think you guys might have helped TJ out last year for the joint.
All healthy players are scheduled to work today.
Mike, you mentioned Mike Evans and the threat that he's in the red zone. When you have a lot of capable corners and guys who are kind of alphas who want that matchup against the number one kind of wide receiver, what are some of the conversations like in terms of in that room?
There's not a whole lot of conversations. Jalen's going to get it. Some people may hate it, and I love that competitive spirit in the collective, but I think it's already been decided.
Joey, one of those people? Gonna hate it?
You can name whoever you want to name. Competitive young people want the matchup, but it's already been decided.
Like you mentioned,
any Tom Moore stories?
I don't personally. Obviously, I've known and respected Coach for a long time, man, and I respect his relationship with the game. You don't do it as long as he's done it and continue to do it without an awesome, unbelievable relationship and passion and respect for this game.
like you mentioned before you left Latrobe, the defense has the potential to be historic. What specifically would that involve?
I wasn't talking specifics. I was just talking about the ingredients that I'm looking at. Obviously, there's a lot of ground between now and then, and effort and work and so forth. And so I simply was answering a question. I wasn't trying to make any bold predictions, certainly, and I definitely wasn't trying to outline what that might be in any level of detail. It's just too much work in front of us to do that. What I meant by it is I like our collection of talent. I like our development of schematics to this point in the journey. It feels really good.
Mike, there's a lot of talk about going to 18 games and 2 preseason games at some point in the future. Are practices like today a good enough substitute for a shortened preseason?
I'm really not ready to have an opinion on those hypotheticals. I'm just trying to get this group ready in 2025, and I hadn't thought about to any great detail the possibilities of those things where I could give you a credible answer.
Mike, you talked about the potential of playing, or the excitement of playing Vita Vea. Of course, he lines up with Kalijah Kancey, a guy that's a bit different in size and skill than the person you saw. What does the excitement give you to see your young offensive line against 2 different guys at D tackle that are that different of skill sets?
It's just an example of what ball is like in our league and the challenges that you face week in and week out, and probably equally as important, the specialization. Some guys are run stoppers, some guys are pass specialists. You got to be ready to face a myriad of specialized talent week in and week out. Some of it comes in the form of 4-3 structure, which is a different animal. Those edge players are closer to 300 pounds. Some of it comes in the form of 3-4 structure. Those edge players are closer to 250, 260 pounds. And so the challenges are different week in and week out, but that's just ball at this level.
How has the way you've handled the preseason over the years evolved? Obviously going from 4 preseason games a long time ago to now 3. How do you handle it, or is it just year by year?
It's evolved in a natural way, but it's also evolved in a reactionary sort of way. The rules that govern what it is that we do, how we put our calendars together, how we work, the amount of work we're allowed, et cetera, the time of hours a day that we get with the guys, all of that has changed over the course of my 19 years here. And so some of it has evolved in a natural way due to knowledge and experience. Some of it has just simply been reactionary to changing regulations. I never even kind of look at it in that framework. I really just look at the tools at my disposal in terms of readying this group and the guidelines I have to subscribe to in an effort to do so. And so I don't think I waste a lot of time comparing this group's preparation to one 15 years ago, because it's not apples and apples.
Mike, are you anticipating this being Aaron's preseason today?
Again, I'll deal with next week. Nice try.
Coach, in terms of, I know you can't get specifics of guys on the roster bubble, but cut down day, I mean, are there a lot of guys really impressing you where it's going to be a hell of a choice to make?
It really is. And I like to describe it as, when you get a good 90 together, you got a chance to put together a good 53, and there's no question that this is a good 90. It's been highly competitive. I've seen growth and development, particularly in a lot of the younger and newer guys, to us and to the league. And so it's certainly going to be some tough decisions, but it's their job to make it tough decisions, and they've done it. But I also acknowledge that we have a lot of ball in front of us between now and then. The cut downs have changed over the 19 years that I've been here in terms of the decisions that you have to make and when and how many. And so haven't even begun to look at it from that perspective, because we got a lot of quality days between now and those decisions.
In the spring or the off season, saying I want to schedule one of these joints, or has it had to be a good fit, somebody to come to you, a coach, a team?
I'm always open, but it has to be a good dance partner. And obviously the Bucks are a good dance partner. Coach Bowles and company are a good dance partner. Sean McDermott and the Buffalo Bills were a good dance partner a year ago, my former college teammate. And so I'm always open, but only if it fits and works, scheduling and opponent.
Are you open to dancing at their venues in the future in a preseason for a joint practice?
Depends on what the schedule is. That's somewhat hypothetical. I'll cross that bridge when I come to it.
I think a couple players said last year your rule with the Bills was if you fight, you're just done for the day. Is that the case again?
I'm not worried about fights happening. I'm looking forward to a really productive day of work, and I'll cross that bridge when I come to it.
2 more. Mike, Aaron said the other day when talking about the joint practices that it helps when you've got maybe a veteran team on the other side of it. When you're talking about the right ingredients, because those guys are just maybe about the work as opposed to the extracurriculars. And in your experience, does that make a good dance partner?
Again, guys, I have zero reservations about the extracurriculars, although I know it's fun and interesting for you guys to report on. That's not why we're here today. We're here to have a really good, productive football day against a worthy opponent and sharpen our skills and get collectively and individually better.
Right, but does a more veteran team maybe serve as a more attractive opponent in these circumstances?
Again, by dance partner, usually I'm talking about coaching staff, their schematics, and things of that nature, and less about the collective age or experience of the group.
All right,
thanks, guys.